The shoulder is one of the most injured body parts in CrossFit and in strength training. So I want to try and talk to you a little bit about why it's so injured, namely range of motion issues in the overhead position. Now, one thing that people don't often realize is the influence of the T-spine or the thoracic spine on your ability to get your arm overhead. So stand up right now. I want you to try this with me. Stand up, get into a really bad slumped forward position and try and elevate one arm overhead. Notice how far you can get. I can't get very far. So then we're gonna get a nice tall posture. So you're gonna open up that T-spine and extend, get tall. And then you're gonna do the same thing and try and get your arm as far up as you can. Notice the difference, okay? You might not get very far still, that's okay. But this position obviously is not very strong. It's not a good position to be in. Notice we tend to live in this position day in and day out because we drive, we're at the desk, computers, etc. So what I just showed you isn't necessarily a good test for your thoracic spine, more of an illustration on how it influences your ability to get into a good overhead position. So now I'm going to show you a better test to really assess the function of your thoracic spine. All right, so this here is a spine. Now between my thumbs is the thoracic spine. It is essentially the rib cage. It's where the ribs come out and wrap around. So one of the things that we have trouble with is measuring extension at the thoracic spine. So we can see it flex very well, okay? But we can't really measure it accurately in extension, even if there's a practitioner working with an individual, let alone assessing ourselves. So one of the things that we have to do is infer extension. So one of the cool things about it is as you rotate, one of the side of the vertebrae, some of the joints on one side are going to need to act as if they are flexing, like this. And the other side is going to have to act as if it is extending, like this. So if we assess rotation in both directions, then we can assess extension, or the ability for each vertebrae to extend a little bit on each side. So if you know that you have one side rotation issue, you can infer an extension problem at the spine. And that gives us a really good idea of what you can work on to help get your overhead motion really dialed in. All right, so since we know that we can't measure extension very well, but we can measure rotation, how do we measure rotation? There's a really simple test that you could do on your own. All you're gonna need is a box and a floor and a camera or a friend, okay? So you're gonna get a box, you're gonna set it up, and you're gonna kneel down right next to it, okay? Step 2, place your forearms together and fold down into a little ball right next to the box. Now I want my shoulder as close to the edge of the box as possible. So I'm a little far off, so I'm gonna just scoot over just a tiny bit. All right, so now I'm in this little position and I'm gonna take the hand that's furthest from the box, I'm gonna place it behind my back with my palm up. So that means the back of my hand is gonna be on my low back right above my hip. So back down, palm up. Now I'm gonna rotate towards the sky as far as I can. Notice that my whole torso rotated. Being in this position locks out my low back, my lumbar spine, so almost all that motion that you're seeing is coming from my thoracic spine. Now a passing test is being able to rotate 50 degrees or more vertically.